Hello everybody. Today we are going to study the first topic of our third partial, guys. It has to do with comparative and superlatives. We are going to work with adjectives. Remember that adjectives are the words that you are using for describing people. Remember that these words, guys, we have studied them only as a normal word. What does that mean? That we usually use the words that we already know. For example, when you are describing a person, you can say this person is tall, this person is fat, this person is short. Okay, so we are going to make some changes for you to know how we are going to do some other changes so you can make comparisons and so you can contrast one subject with another subject. Okay, those are the things that I want you to be very careful with. So what is a comparative? As the word says, a comparative, you are going to use it when you want to show the differences between two objects, and this is very important. You are going to make comparisons only when you have two things and you want to compare them one to the other. Okay, this is very important because if you don't understand this part, you are going to have some trouble with the superlatives, the ones that we are going to study later. Okay, so a comparative, guys, you are going to use it when you have two things and you want to say that a thing is different to the other. For example, if you have two cars, you are going to say the Ford is bigger than the Toyota. What are you saying? In Spanish, it would be something like el Ford es más grande que el Toyota. Those are the things that we are going to say when you are making a comparison. You are saying this thing is different than the other. That is the thing that we are going to do. Okay? So, what are the things that you are going to do in order for making your comparison? This is very easy. You are going to follow the rules that I am going to tell you. Okay? The rule number one, guys, is that you have to identify the um, the different adjectives that we have. The rule number one, it is only going to work with the short adjectives. What is a short adjective? Very easy. If you only have one sound, when you pronounce a word, you are going to have a short adjective. And what are you going to do? In this case, you are going to add only er to the adjective, and you are going to have the comparative form. For example, if you have a small, that is pequeño, and you add er, you are going to have a smaller than, and it's very important that we use than. In that form, you are going to have más pequeño que. Okay, that is going to be the meaning. If you have a small, it means pequeño. If you have a smaller than, you are going to have más pequeño que. Okay, in the example that you have here, it says the ant is smaller than the hippo. What are we saying here? Que la hormiga es más pequeña que el hipopótamo. Okay, and remember that this only works with small verbs, with short verbs. What is a short verb? The one that only has one sound. Which are other examples of this? Big, tall, thin, all of them are always going to be short adjectives. So if you have any question about this, please write it down so I can answer your questions in our meeting. We are going to answer the doubts in our meeting. So the second rule that you are going to have here is with the adjectives that are not short. It means that we are going to work with the adjectives that end with a consonant plus a vowel. Okay, what happened with this? And this is a very common rule. You already know it because we have already worked with this with the verbs. What are you going to do here then? If you have this termination, vowel and consonant, remember that the thing that you have to do is to add another consonant and then you are going to add er. So in this case, you are going to have bigger than, fatter than. Okay, remember that this means bigger than, más grande que, fatter than, más gordo que. So, in your example you have, the elephant is fatter than the giraffe. What does that mean? El elefante es más gordo que la jirafa. ¿Ok? Aquí es muy importante que me respeten la regla de las consonantes. Acuérdense que esa es muy común, esa ya se la saben de memoria. Tienen que doblar una consonante cuando ustedes tengan una vocal y una consonante al final. ¿Qué hacemos? Doblamos la consonante y ahora sí agregamos ER. ¿Ok? Cualquier duda, vayan anotándolas, porfis. The rule number 3, the one that we are going to have here, is the one that ends Y. Remember that normally also we do some changes here. Okay, so you are going to have, for example, happy, and you are going to change Y by an I, ER. So you are going to have happier than, funnier than. Okay, remember that the meaning is going to be happier than, más feliz que, funnier than, más divertido que. So, for example, you have here, the girl is happier than the dog. What are we saying? La chica es más feliz que el pato. And remember that all those rules are going to be spelling rules. So be very careful with this rule number 3, guys. And the rule number 4 is very easy. You are going to work with the long adjectives here, okay? If an adjective is long, it means that you have more than one sound. Instead of using the termination ER, the one that we have been studying before, you are going to use more, okay? So for example, if you have beautiful, how many sounds do we have in beautiful? Let's count them. You have beautiful. It means we have 3 sounds, okay? If you have 3 sounds, it means that you have a long adjective. So you are going to use more instead of the termination ER. So we are going to have more beautiful than, and then we are going to have more expensive than. Okay, so in these cases, you are going to have, for example, the butterfly is more beautiful than the frog. What are we saying here? La mariposa es más hermosa que la rana. Ok, aquí necesito que sean bien cuidadosos porque se me van a confundir mucho si no me pusieron bien atención. Acuérdense que las reglas anteriores que les venía mencionando solamente son para los adjetivos cortos. ¿Qué dijimos que eran los adjetivos cortos? Aquellos que solamente tienen un sonido. Cuando yo digo, por ejemplo, short, solamente tengo un sonido. Si tú me dices beautiful, tienes más de un sonido, por eso la regla cambia, ¿ok? ¿Qué pasa entonces en resumen con mis adjetivos cortitos? Que solamente tengo que agregarles ER y tengo que respetar mis reglas de ortografía, que ya les mencioné. ¿Qué pasa con mis adjetivos largos? Tengo que agregar more en lugar de ponerle la terminación ER. Acuérdense que no puedo mezclar esas dos reglas. La terminación ER es solamente para los adjetivos pequeños y cuando agrego more es porque tengo un adjetivo largo. ¿Ok? Que les quede bien clara esa regla. Si no entienden por qué, pregúntenme el día de la conferencia para que les pueda responder. Y ejerciten mucho esta parte de las reglas de ortografía, sobre todo cuando tengo que agregar otra consonante y cuando tengo que cambiar la Y por una I latina. Entonces sean muy cuidadosos con eso en su ejercicio. Esto sería entonces con los comparativos. Les digo que aquí solamente tengo que comparar 2 cosas. Eso es muy importante para que no se me confundan cuando pasemos ahorita la parte de los superlativos. Entonces tengan muchísimo cuidado con eso, chicos. ¿Ok? So let's continue. And we are going to have some exceptions. You know that English loves exceptions. Okay, you are going to have these 3 adjectives that you are not going to use with the rules that I have already mentioned. You have to memorize them. In this case, you are going to have good. There is going to be better than. What does that mean? Good es bueno, better than, mejor que. Bad and worse than. What does that mean? Bad, malo, worse than, peor. And then you are going to have far and farther, and this is going to mean lejos y más lejos. ¿Ok? Con estos también hay que ser bien cuidadosos porque son excepción a la regla. Es decir, con estos 3 no puedo aplicar las otras reglas que ya apliqué. Estos me los tengo que aprender de memoria. ¿Ok? Mucho cuidado con estos también, chicos, porfis. And finally, we are going to have more examples. ¿Ok? And another thing that you have to take into consideration, guys, is that we need to use the word than all the time. When you are comparing, we are going to use the word than. You have, for example, the Toyota is smaller than the Ford. We have already said that it means el Toyota es más pequeño que el Ford. And then you are going to have the Ford is bigger than the Toyota. What does that mean? El Ford es más grande que el Toyota. Okay? Remember that the word than is going to mean que. En español, por ejemplo, cuando hago una comparación, digo, yo soy más alta que mi hermana. Ese que nosotros lo vamos a cambiar por el than. Entonces, cuando sea que yo esté haciendo una comparación, vamos a usar than. Acuérdense que solamente con comparativos. ¿Ok? Cualquier duda, porfis, escríbanla para que no se les olvide y me la puedan preguntar en la conferencia. ¿Ok? Finally, guys, we are going to learn another form in which you can make a comparison. Okay? You are going to use it with the rules that we have here. When you have two things that are the same, you are going to use this formula: as subject, verb to be, as, adjective, as, and another subject. Here, guys, you are saying that two things are the same. For example, when you say, Messi is as fast as Cristiano Ronaldo. What I am saying here, Messi es tan rápido como Cristiano Ronaldo. ¿Qué estoy diciendo aquí con este ejemplo? Que los dos están al mismo nivel. Los dos son igual de rápidos. Los estoy comparando, pero estoy diciendo que están al mismo nivel. In example number 2, you are going to use it when the things are the opposite. For example, when you have Chicharito isn't as fast as Messi. What does that mean? Que Chicharito no es tan rápido como Messi. También estoy comparando dos cosas, pero en este caso estoy diciendo que son completamente diferentes. Acuérdense que en el primer ejemplo estoy diciendo que son iguales, tienen el mismo nivel. En el segundo ejemplo estoy diciendo que son totalmente diferentes. ¿Ok? Esto sería en cuanto a los comparativos, chicos. Como ya les venía diciendo, por favor, cualquier duda, algo que no hayan entendido, escríbanlo para que me puedan preguntar en la conferencia. Y en la conferencia resolvemos sus dudas. ¿Ok? Les voy a pedir que para este ejercicio trabajen con su workbook en la página número 28. Van a hacer el ejercicio número 1, número 2 y número 3 para que tú puedas practicar con tus comparativos. ¿Ok? El día de la conferencia me vas a mostrar tu página totalmente respondida y vamos a revisar nosotros las respuestas que tú escribiste en tu libro y te voy a dar la retroalimentación y vamos a resolver tus dudas. ¿Ok? Espero que haya quedado claro en su mayoría y nuestra siguiente lección sería para los superlativos, que en un momento más empezaré con la explicación de ese tema. ¿Ok? Por favor, escriban sus dudas y las resolvemos en la conferencia.